tilting your pelvis. So you decrease the space at your low back and increase the space at your low back. And you can do that with your legs together or a little bit apart, warming up that low back. And then if it's comfortable for you, bring your legs back together. You can squeeze the legs together or even just the heels while you breathe. You're going to inhale into the sides and back portion of the ribs and exhale, feeling the expansion on the inhale and feeling that get a little narrower on the exhale, going into your rib cage arms going up and over. If you want, you can do these with light weights, but the challenge here is really keeping your back stable. So you're using that sense of the kind of upper core, if you will, alternating arms. Just trying not to wiggle around your torso while you have your arms free, both arms coming up and around. If you're in a narrow space, you can bend your elbows like I'm doing, or if you have room, keep your elbows straight, coming up and over and around. And then reversing. So you're trying to keep everything still except your arms. Continue to breathe. Moving on, you're going to bring one leg up into tabletop and then the second leg up. Press your hands into your thighs and your thighs into your hands to feel that low ab connection and go into your toe taps. Alternating, and then you can speed up the alternating so that they pass each other along the way. You can do that with pointed feet, or you can flex and go into heel taps, which is a little bit harder, get a little further to travel. And then pointing your feet, both legs coming down for the double leg toe taps. You can add your arms for more of a challenge. Arms up first towards the ceiling, and then if that feels doable, you can flex your feet, go into heel taps, and then eventually move your arms overhead even more for a challenge. So here you're going to feel that sense of the lower and upper part of your abdominal engagement, that kind of sensation there. And then arms come down, feet come down. We're going to hover. And the lower your feet are to the ground, actually, the harder it is. So flex your feet and try and keep them low if you can, and then adding the arms in for more of a challenge. You can either move the arms up and down like I'm doing, or you can just find a spot that feels like a nice challenge and hold, and then coming down. Now we're going to connect the arms to the torso. So you're going to go ahead and nod your chin a little bit as you press your arms down to bring your torso up. And you can do that with your legs down, feet on the mat, or with your feet up in tabletop. And then from here, you can extend and prepare for the 100. Start pumping your arms, inhaling for 5 pulses and exhaling for 5 pulses. Repeat that 10 times. If your legs are extended, have them in the Pilates V position with the heels squeezing together, inner thighs squeezing together. Otherwise, you can have them in tabletop, legs squeezing together. And when you exhale, really blow all the air out. And then go ahead and lower down. You can hug your knees for a moment and then help yourself up to sitting. Take a little back stretch and then roll down just as far as you can. If you can go all the way down, that's fine. If you can't, that's fine too. And then wherever you are, roll back up and stretch again. And feel free to add in any props. If you want to use a band or a towel, go ahead and do that. Moving smoothly and with control. And using your exhale to come up, especially at that hardest moment. Rolling up and rolling down. And then from here, we're going to stretch a little bit. You're going to bounce, 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 and extend. Your standing leg can either be straight on the mat or bent with the sole of the foot on the mat. Stretching leg bounces 3 times and then extends. And then the other side, bounce, 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 and extend. And then going back to the first side, we're going to do our single leg circle. Standing leg can either be straight and long or bent. First crossing your center line, then coming down, up and around about shoulder distance, and then reversing. Shoulder distance to open, and down, up and around. And then switching to the other side, keeping your pelvis stable in the transition, extending your top leg, and then deciding what you want to do with that bottom leg, that standing leg. Crossing your center line to begin with. And then reversing, opening shoulder distance and coming up, down, up and around. And then from here, go ahead and bend your knees, and you can rock up if that feels okay. If not, just come up to sitting in whatever way feels good for you. And then you can come into your ball position. You can either hold, or if you feel comfortable, you can roll. You can do your rolling like a ball. So either you can practice just balancing here or rocking back and up. And you'll go back just to the bottom tip of your shoulder blades, so not on your neck or head. And use that exhale to come up. Use the exhale. And then prepare for single leg stretch. You're going to alternate legs here with a little pull press, a gentle pull press of the leg. Folding at the knee and hip. You can play with the speed, going slowly or picking up the pace. And then both legs come in, and then we reach for double leg stretch. You can do this with the arms reaching with straight elbows, or you can take off your top hat. So going from bent to straight arms. And now scissors, one leg up, one leg down. You can do a little pulse with the legs, or just alternate. And if your hamstrings are tight, you can also do this with your knees bent. Both legs up and together, hands behind your head for the double leg lowers. Keeping your back stable as you move your legs up and down, heels pressed together. Try to stay up in the curl. And then into crisscross. And you can actually reach that elbow up towards the ceiling as you twist. And then lowering down. Coming up to sitting. And then scoot back a little bit on your mat so you have room here. And you're going to open your legs just a little wider than your mat for spine stretch forward. You can have your hands on the mat, slightly walking forward. You can exhale to come forward, and when you're ready, you'll inhale to come back up. You can also do this with your arms up parallel to the ground, pulling your ribs back as your hands reach forward. And heels pressing down into the ground. Preparing for open leg rocker. Come into that ball position with the knees about shoulder distance apart. And if you feel up for it, you can stretch your hamstrings, either with the hands behind the thighs or holding onto the shins. And then for this open leg rocker, you can do it with bent knees, with the hands behind the thighs. You can also play around with the legs extended, keeping either the hands behind the thighs, or for a more advanced position, holding on to the front of the shins. And then help yourself down to the mat for a small corkscrew. You're going to go ahead and draw small circles clockwise and then counterclockwise, trying to keep your pelvis fairly stable. Trying to keep your torso fairly stable here. Heels are pressed together in your Pilates V. Hugging your knees, and then help yourself back up. You're going to go into saw, You're gonna open your legs a little bit wider, stay up on those sits bones, twist, and then curl, reach that pinky finger towards your pinky toe. Exhaling as you curl, inhaling as you come up and center. Your knees can be somewhat bent to help keep you on your sits bones. Keep breathing. And the opposite hip stays anchored down and back. So if you're twisting to your right, your left hip stays down and back. Alternating sides. And we're going to move on to your stomach. Do a little stretch here so you can keep this as low or as high as you want, coming up and down. If you want, you can come up and turn your head from one side and then to the other side, coming back down. And you can also come up and turn your head to one side and do a little neck roll down and around to the other side and center and reverse. And lowering down. We're going to go into a swan variation, so you can go ahead and lift up using your hands and your upper back, and then as your torso comes down, you lift your legs. So you hold the same shape as you go up and down, and as always, do whatever works for your body, and then bring your arms back. Your upper body is just hovering off the mat, and you can do a little pulse with the arms up and down, and this can be done with light weights as well. And lowering down. And remember, you can take a back stretch anytime you want during this series. You can do that on all fours, just rounding your back. You can do that in child's pose or a variation of that. So do whatever stretch works for you. Moving into single leg kick, you have the option of keeping your head down, keep your pelvis stable, and the front of your hips need to be flexible enough to allow you to do this to keep your back stable. Now, if you have the flexibility, you can do that up on the forearms. Really keep the front of the torso lifted as you do that. And coming down, preparing for the double leg kick. It's optional if you have the flexibility. You can go ahead and do that. Kick, 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 and come up. You can always just do the legs or just do the upper body. And take your stretch, whatever works best for your body. Take some time here. Breathe. And then we're going to come down onto the back and just some bridging. So you can do whatever works best for you. You can roll up one vertebra at a time, or you can do this in more of a flatter back position. And then here's another option. You can keep your pelvis stable, one leg up into tabletop, and do a little pulse here, really feeling the glute and hamstring on the standing leg working. And you can keep this pretty low as well. And switching to the other side. Same thing, lowering down and up, keeping your hips level. And coming down. Moving on to another option for you. You can come up into your bridge position. You have the option to extend the lower leg. You're going to keep your pelvis stable as you do this, alternating sides. And lowering down. Coming back up, another option is you can extend your leg and lift and lower while keeping your pelvis stable. So you choose whatever bridge variations work for you. Again, pelvis stays level as you move one leg. And then coming down, and then help yourself up to sitting. And we're going to prepare for a spine twist. Your twist, twist, twist. And center. Legs stay together. Your pelvis stays stable. You can always take a peek and make sure one leg doesn't appear longer than the other. That'll let you know if you've moved your pelvis or not. And then next week, we're going to move into the side lying work. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. And if you're interested in working with me, you can check out my website. It's in the description box.